KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial. I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Recently, I listened to a Tavis Smiley show conversation with James Farr. At one point, James said something that caught me off guard. Not because it wasn't true, but because it is. Black Altadena is gone. I know it may seem stupid and non-productive, but I stopped in that moment listening to Tavis and James. I broke down and cried. In the back of my mind, I told myself we can bring it back like it was. But James Farr's reality check hit me like a ton of bricks. My community is being murdered. I said murdered, not by the Altadena Eaton Canyon fire, but by the people we elect to protect us, and by greedy and gatekeeping nonprofits who cannot see the forest for the trees. For the first time since the fire, I truly feel and understand my wife's inconsolable pain. Because I'm struggling to find a path to recovery and at least some form of normalcy. My community is crumbling right in front of my face. Lack of funding to rebuild is slowly destroying us. Many of us can no longer hold out, and developers are gobbling up our property. When I hear voices like Tavis Smiley and James Farr speak truth to power on KBLA Talk 1580, it reminds me that we're not crazy, just unheard. Make no mistake here, KBLA delegation, this is war, and we the people of Black Altadena are losing. It's like waiting for reparation. Not gonna happen, brother. In this new orange man world, no one, no entity is persuaded by right or wrong. There is no consequence for doing the wrong thing, and no accolades or support for doing the right thing. Will war-torn Black Altadena survive? Your guess is as good as mine. But what have I got to lose? I'm in my 70s and don't have time to wait. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once suggested that riots break out when people have no hope. But there's nothing left to burn down in Altadena. I wish I could say I remain hopeful that my beloved community will rise again like a phoenix from the ashes. I wish I could. With a KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Pasadena Community Coalition at gmail.com. Reach out to me. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Hey, so I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light, see the light.
Issue.
So many people ask me about how to love yourself. How do you love yourself, Louise? Because I talk about it all the time. So I made a list of how to love yourself. And it's even in poster and postcard form now. But number one on that list of how to love yourself is to stop all criticism. Just stop it, now and forevermore. And make a vow to yourself that you're going to do your very best from now on to stop criticizing, number one, you, and then other people. It'll be a lot easier to stop criticizing other people when you stop criticizing yourself. Now, number two on that list is stop scaring yourself. And here we go into fear. How often do you terrorize yourself with your own thoughts? You get into absolute terror, and it's only coming from your thoughts. Nobody out there is doing a thing. Sometimes it's an old family pattern. Sometimes we get new things. How many people here are absolutely in terror of earthquakes? And how often do you do that to yourself? You know, we find so many ways to scare ourselves. I would like people, when you have time, to make a list of your fears. Make a list of your fears. And then give yourself the opportunity to turn each fear into a positive affirmation. Turn each one into something positive. And remember, always you are in charge. You are always in charge. See, one idle thought doesn't make a whole lot of difference. It's like but thoughts are like drops of water. You drop a drop of water on the table here, and it doesn't mean much. But if you keep dropping and keep dropping and keep dropping, you get the table becomes a wash, and then you get a puddle on the floor, and then you can get a little pond and a lake, and finally you can create an ocean. And with our own thoughts, we can drown in a sea of negativity, or we can float on the ocean of life. And it's up to us. The thoughts we think accumulate. And what sort of puddles are you standing in? Or are you up to here? Or are you up to here and trying to paddle? You know, what are you doing to yourself? When we're willing to change our thinking, we can change our experiences. And it doesn't matter if you've got a big puddle of negative thoughts. You know, you can move over here and create a puddle of marvelous positive thoughts. You can make changes, always.
Ooh, whoever that was is cooking. Who is that? Louise Hay, legendary Hay House Publishing. Louise Hay? Louise Hay is on complete fire. Before I get into the topic, though, that editorial just blew me away. Listen, I was raised in Altadena and Pasadena, man. Man, I'm there twice a week. You know? I shout out to KBLA Talk 1580. Dominique DePrima, Tavis Smiley, and everybody else who asked me, man, how are your brothers? Because remember, I told you guys they were missing during that whole firestorm situation. And I'm back in Pasadena twice a week. And I meet up with my oldest brother who is homeless. And, you know, I sit with him. I feed him. You know, I give him money. And when I'm done with my business in Pasadena, before I leave, I always shoot up Lake Street, you know, past my mom's old crib, past Dr. Russell's home, which was burned to the ground, past Elliott Middle School, which was burned. And I go all the way up to the mountain. And what's crazy is as you're driving up Lake Street, the burn scar is still there. I mean, you see it on the mountain literally where there was once trees and foliage and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. It's just dirt that was burnt to the ground. So, yeah, Altadena, Pasadena, the residents, I still have my family who lost homes. You know, my homeboy James Broadway, childhood friend, you know, legendary music producer, hip-hop producer, and former A&R. He lost his home. But yeah, man, I go up and I make that drive through the neighborhood. and it's gone. It's literally gone. And I'm not going to get into, some of the discussions that me and my friends have had about people trying to take advantage, but that's a real thing. And so that editorial just touched me like in a real way. So keep praying for Altadena. And I know that there are places all over the country that are struggling, like Texas. That flood that killed like 130, like 140 people, and most of them kids. I mean, the country is going through some difficult times. So, just keep the country in prayer. And Los Angelinos, please pray for Pasadena for sure. Did you know I just found out that Rodney King, the famous guy who got beat, he went to John Muir High, Pasadena. I'm like, yo, man. Attila says they're still finding people. Yeah, so it's a beautiful legacy in Altadena, Black Altadena, Pasadena. We're all, if you from there, you understand that Pasadena, Altadena, there's slight differences, but not really. We all go to school together. We all went to different schools and same schools and transferred to school. Like, if you from Dena, which is Pasadena and Altadena collectively, if you from Dena, we all like connected that way. So, let me move on to my topic, because Louise Hay was absolutely cooking. And please understand the severity and the importance of relationship. We're getting geared up to do our second series. And the second series is the opposite of the first series. The first series we did maybe 3 weeks ago. It was a 2-week-long series, 8 episodes, and it talked about the spiritual nature of relationship. And the reason why I found that important to do is because I'm always saying relationships are inherently spiritual. It's just that the social side gets more burn than the spiritual side. People see the spiritual side as woo-woo or not scientifically supported. We debunked all of that it was 2 weeks ago now. We debunked all of that. And we had a 2-week run where it's nothing but fire spiritual laws as they pertain to relationships. And not necessarily dogmatic or dogma-based, but more metaphysical and spiritual, right? It was heavy. So not so much religious, but more spiritual. It was a heavy series. We have an entirely different kind of series coming. And when y'all hear this series, oh my God, y'all ain't gonna know what to do. But tonight's topic, and based on what Louise Hay broke down, it's important that we understand why we're in a relationship, why we are attracted to whom we are attracted to. Many of us are just looking for connection without understanding that with a connection comes instructions for correction. Now, the instruction for correction is not correction of the other, it's correction of self. Many of us get lost. We think the person has to adjust. The person has to change. I'm going to get deep. The only reason why you need your needs met is because you haven't healed your wounds. That's the only reason why everybody is running around talking about, you got to meet my needs. Well, somebody didn't meet your needs in early childhood, and unconsciously you take the same unmet needs into your adult relationship with the expressed or silent contract of my partner has to finish the job. This is not how it works. This is not how it works. Tonight's topic, psychic wounds. You are who your wounds say you are. Who is saying I deserve? You or your wounds? I deserve better. I deserve more than that. I deserve the best. Are you saying that? Or are your unhealed wounds saying that? Psychic wounds. You are who your wounds say you are. An intriguing look at the spiritually transmitted disease, STD, of criticism, condescension, judgment, and overall dissatisfaction. An ontological assault on the fragile psyche you mistake for selfhood. Let's stop playing cute with our trauma. Let's stop romanticizing ruin. The you present to the world, the one in love, the one that's currently healing, the one working on it, isn't really you at all. It is a composite of psychic scar tissue, cleverly camouflaged in spiritual lingo, childhood wounding, and performative growth. What if your entire identity is just a haunted echo of unresolved abandonment dressed up in adult language and desire? The great poet Rumi once wrote, "The wound is where the place the light enters you." But let me tell you something. You've turned that into an elaborate and colorful tattoo, not the absolute truth of your being. All this because the light doesn't really enter through passive suffering. It forces its way in through the psychic demolition of your false self. If your wound is still the story you're leading with, then the light hasn't entered you at all. You've mistaken your scar for your soul. As one of my favorite teachers and philosophers spoke on, that would be Dr. David R. Hawkins. He said, pain is the price of holding on to your ego. But we wear our pain like a crown, a compensatory halo that justifies judgment, control, entitlement, superiority, and chronic dukkha, dissatisfaction. You really don't want to heal, i.e. be in alignment. What you want is to be right at all cost. You don't want true psychological nudity, i.e. intimacy. You want control disguised in superficial connection. When I come forward, if you think I haven't gotten started, you're absolutely right. I haven't. We got much more to talk about.
Relationships. Got you confused? Need some straight talk? This is where you get the unfiltered truth about love, relationships, and everything in between. He breaks down relationship dynamics with no-nonsense wisdom and practical advice that actually works. Tackling the questions you're afraid to ask and giving you the answers you need to hear. You're inside the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. And I thank you, thank you.
Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and Brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
Break out the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
Tavis Smiley is now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33 and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yeah. You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
We ain't gotta be up together, girl. Maybe we're better misunderstood. I've been trying to be clear in my feelings, girl. Maybe we're better misunderstood. I've been overthinking, we ain't really even gotta name this. We'd be so much better misunderstood. We'd be so much better misunderstood. But you don't believe me. I try to do it, I push them back anytime you come and see me. Is it mine or mine? All I know it just feel right. Don't it feel right? My thoughts be doing what they wanna. Got me thinking that I might can't have you like I want you. Oh, you know I'm no good at reasons. Holding back, I try to just get me deeper. We ain't gotta be up together, girl. Maybe we're better misunderstood. I've been trying to be clear in my feelings, girl.
One of the very common outcomes when we start to first practice self-compassion, particularly if we have a strong inner critic, and that is the term backdraft. And this is based on firefighting principles, that if you have a fire and you open the door to the fire, the oxygen inflames the fire and gets bigger.
Mm-hmm.
When you offer yourself unconditional love, when you offer yourself compassion, it will open the door to a history of not feeling loved, to a history of not experiencing compassion, to experiences of grief, of greater inner critic. So it's actually, whilst on the surface it sounds like this is a lovely thing to do, to offer self-compassion, it is actually quite genuinely one of the hardest tasks for us to do is to develop a self-compassionate voice.
You are who your wound says you are. I know it's hard to hear that. You are who your wound says you are. Andy, who was the young lady speaking? The young lady that we just heard. Who was that speaking? Dr. Emily. Dr. Emily. You are who your wound says you are, until you take the voice from your wound. And you can only do that through love, through accepting of the wound. Most of us suppress, repress, try to ignore. We don't want to deal with it. You are who your wound says you are. This takes what Maya Angelou says and flips it on its head. When Maya Angelou says, when that person shows you who they are, believe them. But relationship is a mirror. When that person shows you who you are, you should believe them as well. You should believe the reflection of yourself that's coming from that person, as well as believe the projection that's coming from that person, the projection of themselves. Believe it. I keep trying to tell you, you're not wounded. You're merely possessed by toxic past patterns you struggle to break free from. By ancestral grief, Babette Rothschild, right? By energetic fragmentation, Thomas Campbell. By karmic frequencies, your nervous system still confuses as home, Rosenberg. You don't love them. You don't recognize their, You don't love them. You recognize their dysfunction. That's why you call it chemistry. Your psychic wound is not a metaphor. It is a program, a looping limbic embodied spell, a bioenergetic addiction to familiarity, Babette Rothschild. You're not in love. You're in limbic reenactment. And you are not attracted to them. You are trying to complete a sentence your inner child was never allowed to utter. And your life, it's been scripted by pain, rehearsed in guilt, apathy, and shame, and performed as pseudo-righteousness. You think you're choosing partners, friends, and lovers? You are not. You're choosing energetically and magnetically summoned mirrors, high-frequency projections of your disowned shame, asking to be met or reenacted. Criticism, judgment, condescension, these aren't bad habits. They are spiritual diseases, STDs, spiritually transmitted delusions, passed from generation to generation, from pulpit to therapist, couch, from broken parent to broken child. They are weapons your ego inherited to punish reality for not rescuing you in time. When I come forward, I'm going to tell you again, don't let your wounds tell you who you are.
He's on fire tonight. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Former President Barack Obama is urging Democrats to, quote, toughen up, end quote, after recent 2024 losses. Speaking at a private fundraiser in New Jersey, he told supporters now is not the time to sit out, but to take action. Rapper and producer Jay-Z surprised fans at Beyonce's Atlanta show, joining her on stage to perform Crazy in Love and public service announcement. The tour continues in Atlanta before wrapping up in Las Vegas. And Fort Polk in Leesville, Louisiana has been renamed again, this time back to a version of its original name. Once named after Confederate General Leonidas Polk, the Biden administration changed it to Fort Johnson in 2023 to honor William Henry Johnson, a Black World War I hero and Medal of Honor recipient. That name only lasted 2 years. The Trump administration has now renamed the base after General James H. Polk, a World War II Silver Star recipient. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
All I need is one mic.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Recently, I listened to a Tavis Smiley Show conversation with James Farr. At one point, James said something that caught me off guard. Not because it wasn't true, but because it is. Black Altadena is gone. I know it may seem stupid and non-productive, but I stopped in that moment listening to Tavis and James. I broke down and cried. In the back of my mind, I told myself we can bring it back like it was. But James Farr's reality check hit me like a ton of bricks. My community is being murdered. I said murdered, not by the Altadena Eaton Canyon fire, but by the people we elect to protect us, and by greedy and gatekeeping nonprofits who cannot see the forest for the trees. For the first time since the fire, I truly feel and understand my wife's inconsolable pain. Because I'm struggling to find a path to recovery and at least some form of normalcy. My community is crumbling right in front of my face. Lack of funding to rebuild is slowly destroying us. Many of us can no longer hold out, and developers are gobbling up our property. When I hear voices like Tavis Smiley and James Farr speak truth to power on KBLA Talk 1580, it reminds me that we're not crazy, just unheard. Make no mistake here, KBLA delegation, this is war, and we the people of Black Altadena are losing. It's like waiting for reparation. Not gonna happen, brother. In this new orange man world, no one, no entity is persuaded by right or wrong. There is no consequence for doing the wrong thing, and no accolades or support for doing the right thing. Will war-torn Black Altadena survive? Your guess is as good as mine. But what have I got to lose? I'm in my 70s and don't have time to wait. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once suggested that riots break out when people have no hope. But there's nothing left to burn down in Altadena. I wish I could say I remain hopeful that my beloved community will rise again like a phoenix from the ashes. I wish I could. With a KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Pasadena Community Coalition at gmail.com. Reach out to me. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Yo, it's Zoe Williams, the VOR, and I know you're tired of pretty gems with pretty lies, where people seem to scroll more than they sweat. Well, it's time to level up. Welcome to Huff and Puff, where excuses die and champions rise. Smack dab at 1221 North La Brea on the corner of Fairview. This ain't a photo shoot, it's a battleground. Certified achievers in the game. Trainers who grind with you, not post pictures beside you. Whether you're chasing your next personal record or just trying to outrun your past, this is your sanctuary of sweat. No mirrors, no filters, no fluff, just pain, passion, and purpose. Stop talking, start training, huff hard, puff loud, be legendary. Where folks go to war with their weaknesses. Huff and Puff.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than Saquon Barkley, the NFL's reigning leading rusher. I'm also the NFL's leading husher. Shh, hush up back there. Wow, I might have just set the hushing record. Well, almost. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Thinking I can make as many songs, not a get it, woman, say it better. If I say I love her, am I wrong? Am I crazy? Am I overzealous? But I know the feeling, and I'm never wrong. Swear that I've been gifted with a song. In a minute, it's intoxicating. If we on you, get it like the alcohol. We can do like anything you want. I'm amazing, let it simulate it. I just wanna pleasure, check my catalog. In this life, I come across fans and hoes. And I like to give my fans a rose. Curse of the talented, everywhere I go, they wanna change clothes and pose. But my wife be in my dreams, bruh, no I couldn't see it. I saw a silhouette, I know I can make a way. But when I wake up alone, no, I just break out my phone. Thinking I can make this many songs, but I let it when I haven't been her, but she on me heavy, woman say it better. If I say I love her, am I wrong? Am I crazy? Am I overzealous? But I know the feeling, and I'm never wrong. Swear that I've been gifted with a song. In a minute, it's intoxicating. If we on you, get it like the alcohol.
You just adjusted to what life presented to you. You became a parent, so you just kept going. You lost something, so you kept moving. You know, you changed roles, shifted seasons, survived the pressure, but you never stopped to ask at what cost. Most of us pick up and keep moving. We tell ourselves...
No, wait, hold on. Sister Raquel is cooking. Raquel Hopkins. Bring it back and listen to what she's saying. Go ahead.
You just adjusted to what life presented to you. You became a parent, so you just kept going. You lost something, so you kept moving. You know, you changed roles, shifted seasons, survived the pressure, but you never stopped to ask at what cost. Most of us pick up and keep moving. We tell ourselves life isn't supposed to be easy, so we don't question what's harmful. We just call it normal. And that's not capacity, that's autopilot. It's not that you never had space to grow. It's that you never thought you needed to choose it. You didn't know slowing down, processing, and rebuilding internally was a part of the assignment. Real capacity isn't just built by surviving life's transitions, right? It's built by becoming more conscious in them. It's built when you choose clarity over chaos. When you stop carrying everything and start asking, who am I now? Who do I want to be next? If you're tired, you're not tired because you've had too much capacity. You're tired because you've carried too much without ever consciously developing your capacity. You adjusted, you adapted, you survived, but you didn't pause to build the mental, emotional, and internal strength to hold what life kept throwing.
She's talking about psychological weightlifting. That's it. You didn't build the muscle to deal with life. So many people think their partner should be the answer for the work they didn't do. Listen, my partner comes in, makes it all good. I just need somebody to love on me. I just need somebody to hug me from time to time. And yes, that's cool. But if you don't know how to love yourself, if you don't know how to hug yourself, if you don't know how to accept yourself, if you don't know how to approve of yourself, if you don't know how to validate yourself, you're just an addict. That's what it is. Your wound, right? That's who you are. Your wound tells you who you are. Now, unless you heal the wound, how do we heal the wound? Right? Man, I was sitting in the cigar lounge over the weekend talking to a young lady. Within 5 minutes, she's crying. Because, again, she's never really processed or dealt with any of these issues. Do you understand? We struggle in relationships because we think the relationship will give us the answer we want versus the answer we actually need. See, the relationship is going to give you the answer you need, not the answer you want. When you get the answer you need, you think the relationship is a failure, when in fact, the relationship actually gave you the keys to yourself. Do you see? Your wounds tell the world who you are. You have to take the voice from the wound, right? You have to become the Metatron for self, right? Ross Rosenberg warns of the self-love deficient disorder, SLDD. And that's precisely what I just described. Every compliment, projection, and diagnosis you issue is an SOS from the unparented child inside of you who believes that love must be earned through suffering. No, capacity is earned through understanding why you go through suffering. Many of us have just gotten tired. We've given birth to a generation that they see learning and developing the capacity as part of the problem. No, life is always going to be difficult. You live on a planet where the tectonic plates are still moving. You live on a planet where weather can wipe out whole populations. You live in a dangerous place, but yet you want your relationships to always be peaceful. Well, excuse me, quiet. Quiet is the term. Right? Do you understand? You don't want to be loved. You want to be seen as the one who sees. It's your final power play before the identity collapses. And yet you cling to separation like a drug. You call your isolation discernment. You call your trauma instinct. You call your criticism boundaries. But beneath it all, you're just terrified of proximity, of peace, of being fully seen, and not needing your wound as proof you exist. And let's be devastatingly honest right here. You don't attract narcissists. You attract frequencies. Listen to this. You attract frequency matches to the parents you couldn't save. The broken parents you still love, who abandoned you in some way. Not because you're broken, but because your nervous system was wired to confuse chaos with home. You don't want to heal them. You want to be the savior they beg not to leave. It's not compassion. It's codependent martyrdom in a spiritual robe. Do you understand? I'm sorry. And like Eckhart Tolle once said, healing is not a morning ritual, a journaling prompt, or a spiritual bath. It is violent spiritual surgery, a tearing away of every adaptive pattern you've mistaken for purpose. It is the shattering of the mirror, the dissolution of the echo, the radical refusal to reenact your wound as love, your pain as personality, your judgment as truth. So I ask you again, who are you without the story of your suffering? What dies in you when you stop needing to be wounded to be valid? What part of you still finds your identity in the echo of your pain? Don't do me like they did me. Don't treat me like they treated me. And what sacred madness are you willing to walk through to finally be free? Because you are who your wound says you are until you rip out its tongue. Only then the light will enter. The light that Rumi spoke of. Only then can the light enter the wound and enlighten the wound. Right? Not gently, not kindly, but mercilessly illuminating every place you've hidden behind a trauma you've long mistaken for who you are. When I come forward, I promise I get to the phone lines. Listen, I want to talk to everybody. Are you who your wound says you are? Does your wound, your unhealed wounds, identify you? When we come forward, we're going to hear from you.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
During this time, it's important for everyone to know your rights. The 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments in the U.S. Constitution protects every one of us, regardless of immigration status. The 4th Amendment requires a judicial warrant to search your home. The 5th protects your right to remain silent, and the 6th gives you the right to an attorney. Just remember,
No warrant, no key. My privacy. You don't have to speak. No lawyer inside. Don't say a thing. Yeah, we all got rights.
Hey, we all got rights. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
They told me put my hands up behind my head. I think they got the wrong one. I'm sick and tired of running. I've been searching where the love went. I've been looking for the dove. Then they told me if I move, they gon' shoot me dead. But I think I'm about to go to run. I've been waiting on the summer. So looking back and wondering how we put to keep from under. They told me put my hands up behind my head. I think they got the wrong one. I'm sick and tired of running. I've been searching where the love went. I've been looking for the dove. Then they told me if I move, they gon' shoot me dead. But I think I'm about to go to run. I've been waiting on the summer.
If your entire healing journey reads like a dissertation on everyone else's dysfunction, while your own patterns get swept under the rug, I hate to break it to you, but that ain't healing. There's this pattern where everyone's got their ex perfectly categorized as emotionally unavailable or a narcissist. We've all become experts, analyzing everyone else's dysfunctions, but faced with examining our own patterns and behaviors, suddenly we develop amnesia. You might have heard of cognitive dissonance, where we rewrite reality when it gets uncomfortable because admitting we participated threatens our self-image. So yeah, casting everyone else as the villain helps us sleep at night, but it also keeps us from getting curious about the harder questions. Look, sometimes people really are harmful, but if every single person in your story is the problem except you, that's not how relationships work, even the dysfunctional ones. We spend years perfecting our analysis of everyone else's issues while our own patterns run the show in the background, completely unexamined. The real healing happens when we stop perfecting our trauma stories and start getting curious. What draws us to emotionally unavailable people? How do we abandon ourselves to maintain connection? What part of us do they mirror? Because repeating the same dynamics with different people while armed with better vocabulary isn't growth. It's just intellectualized trauma.
Hey, man, Dog Man back at it again. I love Dog Man. Is the dog's name Lenny? Is that the dog's name, Lenny? Listen, man, Dog Man, that little cartoon, man, he cooks every single time. The voice of reason, live from KBLA Talk 1580. We are on complete fire tonight. Your wound, right, tells you who you are. Your wound tells you who you are. Is that true? I'm interested to know. You are who your wounds say you are, right? You are who your wounds say you are. Is this not true? I'd like to know if all pain speaks in the language of unmet needs, what does chronic criticism silently beg for? Can the impulse to judge emerge as a nervous system's attempt to stabilize itself in the face of emotional ambiguity? Might the need to fix others be a disguised grief for the parts of oneself left unmet? If trauma encodes time as danger, how does intimacy threaten the survivor's sense of safety by collapsing chronology? Does your preference for truth serve your healing or merely preserve your identity as the one who sees clearly? What if your loyalty to emotional pain feels safer than the vulnerability of peace that comes from peace? Can an insecure attachment be seen not as a disorder, but as a precise adaptation to energetic inconsistency? Man, your wounds, they gonna tell you who you are now. All right, let's get these callers in here. My friend, your friend, always a friend of the show, our brother, J.W. from South Central Los Angeles. J-Dub, what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Hey, how you doing, my brother?
I'm alive and well, my friend. What are your thoughts?
Well, I have questions. Okay, for example, since I'm single, I'm assuming this applies to relatives or friends or co-workers as well as maybe your mate. Am I right or wrong? In terms of how you interact with people.
This is everyone, my brother. Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's just exactly what I thought. Okay, so now let me move forward. Some things terrify me because I can see some traits in myself, how I have changed, and then some things still remain. And one thing that really bothers me, I guess I bury my trauma or my pain or my past so far down, I never realized or wasn't aware that I had these wounds or forgotten about them. And when you bring up various different issues and topics, you make me realize I have some of these traits, and I can identify with what you're saying. And it makes you wonder because, I haven't been dating, so I haven't met someone else where, misery loves company, and then that, like you said, that chemical or however you express the natural laws of the energy drives you to that other person that's mirror yourself and etc. And then since I referenced that, when you look in the mirror and it's an image for yourself, and when you say what you have to do, I think about Michael Jackson. If you want to change the world, you start with yourself, and you look at the man in the mirror and change yourself, and you have to change your mind.
So let's do that.
Mindset.
Wait, so let's do that because I like where you're going with this. Andy, can you put Man in the Mirror instrumental on in the background while I talk to my brother? So I got a question. Let's face the man in the mirror right now. Let's do that right now.
I'm all ears.
So in all of your relational experiences, I have a serious question to ask you. Do you love or do you reenact? If you were to look at all your relationships, what were you reenacting, or were you in love?
Okay.
Do you love or do you reenact?
I understand your question. I would say it'd be a combination of both, and it'd be because of various different situations, such as my high school sweetheart. I found myself really falling in love with her, but then I think the modes were incorrect, and so I was reenacting. Same with other women I have been with, like the woman I should have married and didn't marry, and went to another woman and married. And I felt that was my punishment for not marrying the woman I should have married. And so, yes, it's a combination of both. Same with relatives and friends. It's a combination of the motive or the nature of the situation, if you follow my point.
So wait, let me stop you now. If it's both, why are you reenacting? For what purpose are you reenacting? Are you reenacting to feel safe? Or are you reenacting to bring whatever that reenactment is back up to the surface so you can reconcile it, so you can break that pattern? Are you doing it for that purpose? Are you even conscious of the reenactment?
I'm not even conscious of it most of the time. You bring up subject matters such as this. But when I do reenact, and I know I'm intentionally doing it, I know the motives are incorrect, and I'm doing it just because I'm trying to relate or accomplish something that I want.
Yikes. Hey, man, stay here.
And
Don't go nowhere, J-Dub. Stay right here. Don't go nowhere, J-Dub. We got time today. Stay right here, J-Dub. When we come forward, more from South Central Los Angeles.